From the moment we are born, we are taught what life should look like. The lessons come from every direction: our families, schools, media, and society. These lessons are not just about how to behave or what to believe. They shape how we see ourselves, how we interact with others, and how we pursue happiness. But what if the life we are told to live is a lie? What if the very beliefs that guide our choices are designed to keep us in line, to make us follow a path that leads to dissatisfaction, stress, and a lack of fulfillment? One of the biggest lies we are taught is that success equals happiness. We are told from a young age that if we work hard, achieve our goals, and reach a certain level of success, happiness will follow. But the truth is, success doesn't guarantee happiness. Many people climb the ladder of success only to find themselves feeling empty once they reach the top. They've worked tirelessly to achieve their goals, but when they finally get there, they realize that the happiness they expected doesn't exist. Happiness is not something you achieve, it's something you experience along the way. We are also taught that money can buy happiness. Society constantly reinforces the idea that the more money you have, the happier you will be. The media shows us pictures of rich and successful people living lives filled with luxury, fame, and comfort. We are led to believe that if we had more money, we would be happier, less stressed, and more fulfilled. But the reality is, money can buy comfort, but it can't buy happiness. Once our basic needs are met, money loses its power to provide joy. The constant pursuit of wealth can even lead to anxiety, stress, and a sense of emptiness because the things that truly bring happiness, relationships, purpose, self-fulfillment, cannot be bought. Another lie we are taught is that failure is something to be avoided. We are told to aim for perfection and to fear failure, to see it as something that defines us and diminishes our worth. From a young age, we are conditioned to believe that failing means we're not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough. But failure is not a reflection of your worth. In fact, failure is often the stepping stone to success. Every failure is a lesson, a chance to learn and grow. It's only by facing and overcoming failure that we can truly progress. Failure teaches resilience, humility, and the ability to adapt, and it's an essential part of the journey to success. We are also taught that there is a right way to live life. Society hands us a blueprint. Go to school, get a degree, find a stable job, get married, have children, retire comfortably. But life is not a one-size-fits-all journey. Everyone's path is unique, and there is no single definition of success or happiness. The pressure to follow a prescribed path can lead to feelings of inadequacy and frustration, especially when we realize that the life we're living doesn't align with our true desires. We are all taught to follow the rules, but the truth is, the most fulfilling lives are often the ones that are lived outside the box. Embrace your unique journey and create your own rules. Another lie we are told is that happiness comes from external achievements. We're told that if we work hard enough, if we get that promotion or buy that dream house, we will finally be happy. But happiness isn't something you get, it's something you cultivate. True happiness comes from within, from a sense of self-acceptance, self-love, and a life lived with purpose. It's not about what you have or what you achieve. It's about how you feel about who you are and how you live your life. When you make peace with yourself and live authentically, happiness will follow. Society also teaches us that you must sacrifice your personal life for your career. We're told to work hard, sacrifice our time, and focus on our jobs to achieve success. We believe that if we give everything to our career, we will eventually be rewarded. But this mindset often leads to burnout, frustration, and damaged relationships. When we prioritize work over everything else, we lose sight of what really matters: our health, our relationships, and our personal happiness. Life is not just about work. It's about balance, self-care, and meaningful connections. Without these, work becomes just a source of stress and dissatisfaction. The idea that you have to follow the crowd to fit in is another lie that keeps us from living our truth. Society often encourages conformity, following trends, doing what others are doing, thinking what others are thinking. We are taught that if we don't fit in, we will be left behind or excluded. But the truth is, it's only when you dare to be different that you find your true potential. Following the crowd only leads to living a life that isn't authentically yours. It's the brave individuals who step outside the norm, who think differently and follow their own paths, who create real change and experience true fulfillment. We're also conditioned to believe that emotional pain must be avoided at all costs. From a young age, we're taught to suppress emotions like sadness, fear, or anger because they are seen as weaknesses. We are told that being emotional is something to be ashamed of, that we should always appear happy and content. But emotions are not weaknesses, they are signals. They are a natural part of being human. Emotions like sadness or anger are just as important as happiness. They provide us with valuable insights into what we truly feel and need. Instead of suppressing them, we need to learn how to embrace and understand them. Emotional pain can be transformative when we allow ourselves to experience and learn from it. Another harmful lie we are taught is that the purpose of life is to avoid discomfort. Society often pushes the idea that we should strive for comfort and security at all costs. We are told that if we can avoid hardship, suffering, and discomfort, we will lead a better life. But growth happens outside of your comfort zone. The moments of discomfort, whether it's taking on a new challenge, facing a fear, or dealing with life's inevitable struggles, are the moments when we grow the most. Life's challenges are what shape us, develop our character, and lead to personal growth. It's not about avoiding discomfort, it's about embracing it and using it to become stronger and more resilient. One of the most damaging lies we are told is that life is fair. From childhood, we're taught that if we work hard enough, we will be rewarded equally. We're told that everyone has the same opportunities, and that success is determined by effort alone. The reality is, life is not fair. Opportunities are not distributed equally, and many people face obstacles that others will never experience. There are countless systemic inequalities, based on race, class, gender, and background, that shape people's ability to succeed. While hard work is important, it's not the only factor that determines success. Acknowledging the reality of inequality is crucial because it helps us understand that success is not always a direct result of effort alone. This understanding also teaches us compassion and empathy, helping us support others who may face barriers to success. Related to this lie is the idea that you can control everything in your life. We are taught that with enough willpower, determination, and planning, we can make our lives exactly what we want them to be. But the truth is, there are things beyond our control. External circumstances, the actions of others, and random events can all shape the direction of our lives in unexpected ways. The myth of control can create unnecessary stress and anxiety as we feel like failures when things don't go as planned. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes the best we can do is adapt, stay resilient, and learn from whatever comes our way. Recognizing the limits of control allows us to stop stressing over every detail and focus on what we can influence: our reactions, our mindset, and our actions in the present moment. The concept of doing what you love and the money will follow is another harmful lie that many people buy into. The idea is that if you follow your passion, success will naturally follow because you'll be doing what you're meant to do. While passion is essential for personal fulfillment, the reality is that passion alone doesn't guarantee success. Many people who are passionate about their work struggle financially because success is also about timing, resources, market demand, and networking. Passion is a vital component of happiness and success, but it needs to be paired with practicality and persistence. Success in anything requires not only passion, but also strategy, resilience, and the ability to adapt to circumstances. The pressure to turn passion into profit can cause frustration and disappointment, especially when the realities of the work world don't align with our dreams. Another lie we hear is that success is a linear process. We are often led to believe that success happens in a straightforward, step-by-step manner. Get good grades, go to college, land a job, get promoted, retire happy. The truth is, life is messy, unpredictable, and full of detours. Many people take unexpected paths to success, and often the road is filled with setbacks, failures, and rejections. The belief that there's a single path to success creates unnecessary pressure and can make us feel like failures if we don't follow the prescribed route. Success is not a straight line. It's a winding journey, full of bumps and turns, and often the most fulfilling successes are those that take a non-traditional route. The key is to keep going, stay open to new opportunities, and learn from every step along the way. Another damaging belief that society instills in us is the idea that you have to achieve everything by a certain age. Whether it's getting married, having children, buying a house, or reaching a particular career milestone, society places a timeline on when we should accomplish certain things. This creates a sense of urgency and often leads to anxiety and pressure, as we feel like we're falling behind if we haven't met these expectations by a certain age. The truth is, there's no set timeline for success. People achieve great things at different points in their lives, and there's no right time for everything. Some people start successful businesses in their 40s, while others find their true calling later in life. The key is not to compare yourself to a timeline set by society, but to focus on your own journey and what feels right for you. Life unfolds at its own pace, and sometimes the best things come when we least expect them. There is also the myth that love is a fairy tale, one that will solve all your problems. Society and media have conditioned us to believe that there's one perfect person out there for us, and when we find them, all our struggles will fade away. This idea of love creates unrealistic expectations and puts unnecessary pressure on relationships. The truth is, love is hard work. It requires communication, compromise, and effort from both parties. Relationships take time, understanding, and growth, and they don't magically fix all of our problems. True love isn't about finding someone who completes you, but about finding someone with whom you can grow, support, and build a life. When we expect love to fix everything, we set ourselves up for disappointment and frustration when things get difficult. Another dangerous lie is that you can't be happy until you have everything figured out. We're told that once we have our careers, relationships, finances, and health in order, then we can relax and be happy. But this belief traps us in a cycle of constant striving and never feeling good enough. The truth is, happiness doesn't come from having everything figured out. It comes from accepting where we are in the present moment and finding joy in the journey. Life is a process of continual learning, growing, and evolving, and there's no final destination where everything is perfect. The key to happiness is being okay with the uncertainty and embracing the present rather than constantly chasing an ideal future. One of the most pervasive lies we are taught is that our worth is defined by our productivity. Society glorifies hustle culture, the idea that if we're not constantly working, we're not valuable. We are taught to associate our self-worth with how much we accomplish in a day, but the truth is, you are valuable simply because you exist. Your worth is not determined by how much you produce or how many tasks you check off. True value comes from within. When we constantly tie our self-worth to our productivity, we risk burning out, feeling inadequate, and losing sight of what really matters. Rest and self-care are just as important as hard work. Learning to value yourself outside of what you do is crucial for long-term happiness and emotional well-being. Another major lie is that we can always control our destiny. We are often told that we are the masters of our own fate, that with enough determination and willpower, we can achieve anything. While it's true that our choices do shape our lives, there are countless factors beyond our control that affect our outcomes. External circumstances, timing, and luck can all play significant roles in the direction our lives take. The idea that we have complete control over our destiny can create a lot of unnecessary pressure. The truth is, we can control our actions and mindset, but we can't control everything. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes the best thing we can do is adapt and make the most of the situation we find ourselves in. The idea that we have to be constantly happy is another lie that causes stress and anxiety. In a world where happiness is marketed as the ultimate goal, we often feel like we're failing when we don't feel happy all the time. The truth is, it's okay to not be okay. Happiness is not a permanent state. It's natural to experience a range of emotions throughout life: sadness, frustration, anger, joy. The key is to accept and embrace all your emotions without judgment. Trying to force yourself to be happy all the time only leads to frustration and a sense of inadequacy. It's okay to have down days, to experience hardship, and to not have everything figured out. True well-being comes from emotional acceptance, not from the constant pursuit of happiness. Another lie we are taught is that there is a specific formula for happiness. From childhood, we are handed a blueprint that says, if you get good grades, go to college, get a good job, get married, have children, and retire, you will be happy. Society paints a picture of the perfect life, a set of rules and expectations that all must follow. But the truth is, there is no single formula for happiness. Each person's path to happiness is different. What brings joy to one person might not work for someone else. Happiness is not a destination, it's a journey that is uniquely tailored to each individual. When we are taught to follow a prescribed path, we fail to recognize that the key to happiness lies in embracing our own individual journey. Happiness comes when we stop comparing ourselves to others and start embracing the life that feels authentic and true to us. There is also the belief that relationships are the ultimate source of happiness. From movies to social media, we are shown that love is the key to fulfillment. We are taught that we need to find a partner to feel complete, that having a family will bring us joy, and that the perfect relationship will solve all our problems. While relationships are undoubtedly important, they do not define us or our happiness. The truth is, we are responsible for our own happiness, and no one else can provide it for us. When we depend on others for our happiness, we give away our power and become vulnerable to disappointment. Healthy relationships can bring joy and support, but they are not the sole source of happiness. True fulfillment comes from within, from our own self-love, self-acceptance, and the ability to create meaning in our own lives. Along with this lie, there's the idea that having children will automatically make you happy. Society glorifies parenthood as the ultimate life goal, with children being seen as the key to a fulfilling, meaningful life. While parenthood can bring immense joy and purpose, it also comes with challenges, stress, and sacrifice. Having children does not guarantee happiness. Many people who become parents realize that the responsibility and demands of raising children can be overwhelming. Children are a source of love, but they also require energy, patience, and care. Happiness in parenthood doesn't come automatically. It comes from nurturing a relationship with your children, maintaining your own well-being, and creating a family environment that aligns with your values. Another lie that permeates our society is the belief that perfection is attainable. We are told to strive for perfection in every area of life: our careers, our relationships, our appearances, and our personal achievements. The pressure to be perfect is overwhelming, and the truth is that perfection is an illusion. No one can be perfect. Perfectionism leads to anxiety, stress, and feelings of inadequacy. It prevents us from enjoying the journey because we are too focused on reaching an unattainable ideal. The key to happiness is embracing imperfection. When we let go of the need to be perfect and accept ourselves as we are, we open ourselves up to growth, learning, and a more fulfilling life. Happiness is found in embracing our flaws, making mistakes, and learning from them, not in achieving some ideal version of ourselves. We are also taught that independence is the ultimate goal, that we should all strive to be self-sufficient, to rely on no one, and to build a life that we can control entirely. While independence is important, the truth is, we are all interdependent. Humans are social beings, and the relationships we form with others are crucial to our well-being. The idea of absolute independence can lead to isolation and loneliness. It's not about being completely self-sufficient. It's about learning to rely on others and allowing ourselves to be supported. True strength comes from knowing when to ask for help, when to lean on others, and when to give and receive love. Happiness is often found in community, in the support we give each other, and in the connections we build. The lie of the perfect career is another pervasive myth that keeps people stuck in jobs that don't fulfill them. We are told that a successful life means having a career that we're passionate about, that makes a difference, or that provides prestige and income. We are constantly fed the idea that our career should be the central focus of our lives and that the right job will bring us satisfaction and fulfillment. However, the truth is that your career does not define your worth. Your job may be important, but it is only one part of your identity. Happiness does not come from a title or a paycheck, but from how you feel about yourself and the balance you create between work, personal life, and self-care. It's important to pursue work that is meaningful, but it's equally important to maintain a sense of purpose and fulfillment outside of work. Society also teaches us that we must always be productive. We live in a world that glorifies hustle culture, where the message is clear: if you're not working, you're failing. We're taught that our value comes from what we do and how much we produce. But this constant pressure to be productive leaves little room for rest, creativity, and relaxation. The truth is, productivity should not be our only measure of success. It's just as important to rest, to take breaks, and to nurture our mental and physical well-being. Our worth does not come from how many hours we work or how much we accomplish. It comes from being present, enjoying life, and taking care of ourselves. Taking time to recharge is essential for long-term happiness. The belief that everything happens for a reason is another lie that can prevent us from facing reality. While many people find comfort in the idea that everything has a purpose, this belief can be limiting and dismissive. Life is full of random events, tragedies, and situations that don't have a clear reason or explanation. To suggest that everything happens for a reason can diminish the pain and suffering that people go through, as it implies that they are meant to suffer for some greater purpose. The truth is, not everything makes sense. Sometimes life is chaotic, unfair, and unpredictable, and that's okay. What matters is how we choose to respond to the challenges we face. Happiness comes from acceptance, accepting that life doesn't always have answers, and finding peace in the face of uncertainty. Another harmful myth is that there's a right time for everything. Society often tells us that certain milestones, graduating, getting married, having children, buying a house, should happen at specific points in life. We are conditioned to believe that if we don't reach these milestones by a certain age, we are somehow behind. This lie creates unnecessary pressure and can make us feel like failures when our lives don't follow the expected timeline. The truth is that there is no right time for everything. Life doesn't follow a schedule, and there's no set deadline for when we should achieve certain things. We are all on our own timeline, and success comes when we embrace our own path, regardless of what society tells us is right. The lie that happiness is a destination is one of the most damaging myths perpetuated in our society. From childhood, we are taught that happiness is something to achieve, a reward for good behavior or hard work. We believe that once we accomplish certain things, once we have enough money, the perfect job, the ideal relationship, or the dream house, happiness will be ours. But the truth is that happiness is not a destination. It's a process, a way of living and experiencing life. We often focus on the future, on what we need to do to reach our goals, but happiness is found in the present moment, not in some future achievement. The constant pursuit of the perfect life leads us to neglect the beauty and fulfillment that is already available in the here and now. Happiness is a choice, one that is made through how we choose to approach each day, how we embrace the present moment, and how we respond to life's challenges. We also grow up believing that you must conform to be accepted. Society pushes us to fit in, to follow the crowd, and to adopt a set of beliefs and behaviors that align with the majority. We are taught that if we want to succeed and be loved, we must fit a certain mold. But the truth is, individuality is what makes us special. When we conform to the expectations of others, we lose sight of who we really are. Authenticity is the key to self-fulfillment and true happiness. Being true to ourselves, embracing our unique qualities, and following our own path is what leads to real joy. It's only when we let go of the need for external validation and accept ourselves for who we are that we can experience the peace and contentment that society tells us is out of reach. The belief that money equals freedom is another lie we are taught. We are led to believe that the more money we have, the more freedom we will experience. Money is marketed as the solution to all our problems, the key to happiness, and the ultimate form of freedom. But the truth is, freedom is not about money. Freedom comes from within. It comes from the ability to live life on your own terms, to make decisions that align with your values, and to let go of societal pressures. Having money can give you comfort, but it doesn't necessarily give you the freedom to live authentically or pursue what truly matters. In fact, the pursuit of wealth can often create more stress and anxiety than freedom. It's the freedom to live authentically, to have the space to create, to think for yourself, and to spend time with the people who matter most that brings true joy, not the size of your bank account. We are also told that being busy means being productive. In a world that glorifies hustle culture, we are conditioned to believe that the more we do, the more successful we are. We are taught that if we're not constantly busy, constantly working, we're somehow failing. But the truth is, busyness does not equate to productivity. Being busy can actually prevent us from doing the things that truly matter, things that contribute to our personal growth, creativity, relationships, and well-being. In fact, the pressure to always be busy often leads to burnout and exhaustion. The key to true productivity is not working harder or longer, but working smarter, focusing on what truly moves us forward. True productivity is about being intentional with our time, prioritizing what is important, and allowing ourselves time to rest and recharge. Another lie society teaches is that you must always be happy to be successful. We are constantly told that if we're not happy, something must be wrong. There's this pervasive idea that success and happiness go hand in hand, and if you're successful, you should always feel content and fulfilled. But the reality is that happiness is a spectrum. We all experience moments of joy and moments of struggle. Life is not about being constantly happy. It's about embracing the full range of human emotions, the highs and the lows, and learning how to navigate them. Success is not about perpetual happiness. It's about personal growth, resilience, and living a life that is aligned with your values, even when things aren't perfect. We are taught that there's a right way to grieve, that there's a timeline for healing after loss or hardship. Society often tells us that we should move on quickly to return to our normal lives as soon as possible. But the truth is that grief doesn't have a set timeline. It is a deeply personal process, and everyone experiences it differently. There is no correct way to grieve or a right amount of time for it. Healing takes time, and sometimes the path to healing is messy, non-linear, and unpredictable. The myth that there's a right way to grieve can create unnecessary shame and pressure, leading people to suppress their emotions rather than process them in their own time. The truth is, it's okay to take your time, to feel what you feel, and to heal at your own pace. Another damaging belief is that you must always keep going, no matter what. We live in a society that praises resilience and the ability to push through adversity, often at the expense of our health and well-being. We are taught to ignore our needs, to keep working, keep striving, and never stop. But the truth is that taking a break is not a sign of weakness, and there's strength in knowing when to pause. Constantly pushing ourselves can lead to exhaustion, burnout, and a sense of emptiness. Sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is rest. Stepping back, taking a break, and giving yourself permission to recharge are essential for long-term success and happiness. Taking care of yourself is not a luxury, it's a necessity. The myth that life is supposed to be easy is another lie we are taught. We're told that if we work hard enough, everything will fall into place and life will be smooth sailing. But the truth is, life is full of challenges. There will always be obstacles, setbacks, and difficult moments. These challenges are a part of life's natural rhythm. The key is not to avoid struggle, but to embrace it. Struggles teach us lessons, build resilience, and shape our character. Happiness does not come from avoiding difficulty, but from learning how to navigate it with grace, strength, and purpose. We don't grow during the easy moments. We grow when we face adversity head-on. The lie of finding your purpose is another belief that keeps people feeling lost and frustrated. Society teaches us that there's one specific purpose for each person, and that we must find it to lead a fulfilling life. This can create an overwhelming sense of pressure as people search for their true calling. But the truth is, purpose is not a fixed destination. It's something we create through our choices, actions, and relationships. Purpose can be found in the things that bring us joy, in the work we do, and in the way we contribute to the world around us. There is no single right purpose. It is a dynamic, evolving concept. Purpose comes from living in alignment with what matters most to you, not from a grand, singular goal. The belief that you should never question authority is another harmful societal lesson. From a young age, we are taught to respect authority figures, teachers, bosses, parents, without ever questioning their motives or actions. But the truth is, blind obedience can be dangerous. Questioning authority and challenging the status quo are essential for growth, progress, and creating positive change in society. Critical thinking is a vital skill, and without it, we risk following harmful systems and practices. The most important discoveries in history came from those who dared to ask why and challenge conventional wisdom. The final lie that many people live by is that it's too late to change. We are told that once we reach a certain age, once we've chosen a path, it's too late to make a change. But the truth is, it's never too late to change. Life is not a straight line, and it's never too late to pursue new dreams, start a new career, or follow a new passion. Age is just a number, and the only time it's too late is when we stop believing in our potential to evolve. Change is a constant in life, and the willingness to embrace it is what keeps us alive, engaged, and growing. Another lie we are taught is that you need to have everything figured out by a certain age. Society places this artificial timeline on us from the very beginning. By the time you're in your 30s, you should have a career established, a family, and your finances in order. If you haven't reached those milestones, you're often made to feel like you've failed or fallen behind. The truth is, life doesn't have a set timetable. Everyone's journey is unique, and there is no fixed age by which you need to have your life figured out. Some people find their calling later in life, start families in their 40s, or switch careers when they are in their 50s. Success is not determined by the number of years you've lived, but by the steps you take at any given moment to live authentically and on your own terms. The myth of a set timeline leads to unnecessary pressure, making us feel like we're running out of time when in reality, we're all just in the process of finding our own path, regardless of how long it takes. Another destructive belief is the idea that having a perfect appearance equals success. We are bombarded with images of flawless bodies and faces in the media, leading us to believe that to be successful, we must fit a narrow definition of beauty. The idea that beauty and success are linked creates self-esteem issues, especially for those who don't fit into the traditional molds. The truth is, success and worth are not tied to how we look. Our self-worth should be measured by who we are on the inside, by our character, actions, and how we treat others, not by our appearance. The myth that you must look a certain way to be successful leads to a constant, exhausting pursuit of unattainable beauty standards. True beauty comes from confidence, self-love, and being comfortable with who you are, not from meeting someone else's expectations of what beauty should look like. Society also perpetuates the idea that you should always be in control of your emotions. From a young age, we are told to keep it together, to not show weakness, and to avoid vulnerability. We are taught to suppress emotions such as anger, sadness, or fear because they're seen as negative or unproductive. The truth is, emotions are not something to be ashamed of. They are part of being human, and trying to suppress them can lead to emotional burnout, anxiety, and depression. Vulnerability is a sign of strength, not weakness. It takes courage to feel deeply, to express ourselves authentically, and to confront our emotions head-on. Accepting our emotions, rather than pushing them away, is essential for mental health and emotional well-being. The lie that we must always be in control of our emotions prevents us from experiencing emotional freedom and growth. Another damaging lie is the belief that you must always be productive, even at the cost of your well-being. In today's society, productivity is often glorified. We're taught that we must constantly work, achieve, and hustle to be successful. The idea that our worth is directly tied to how productive we are creates a cycle of stress, overwork, and burnout. But the truth is, rest and recovery are just as important as productivity. We need time to recharge, to reconnect with ourselves, and to relax. Taking breaks is not a sign of weakness or laziness. It's an essential part of maintaining our mental and physical health. Constantly striving to be productive without rest leads to burnout, depression, and exhaustion. True productivity comes from balance, not from relentless hustle. We must learn to value rest as an important part of our journey.